Hello, Internet. My name is Roro, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about how people think that they're activists, but they're actually slacktivists. I didn't come up with that term, it's something I saw on the internet, but I think it works really well for this context because I personally believe that a lot of people think that they're doing a lot of good and they're doing a lot of help for certain causes when in reality they're not actually doing anything and they're just trying to position themselves within their peers so that they appear like they are doing good in the world. So let's get into it. I just want to preface this video saying that I don't think that the topics that a lot of people are currently talking about are things that we shouldn't be talking about. I think it's very important to talk about these things and to share ideas and to try to figure out if there is anything that we can do. But that's not where it ends if you're actually trying to make change or if you think that you can make change. I don't think that these issues are something we should ignore. I just want to clarify that right away. So, the word active is in the word activist or activism, right? So that means that you have to be doing something active at bare minimum to be considered an activist. So what that means is if you're sharing infographics on your Instagram story, you are not an activist. If you're reposting pictures from something that's happening in the world with the intention of spreading awareness, you are not an activist. I would go as far as to say if you're going to a solidarity march, not a protest, not a direct action, a solidarity march, just with making a sign and walking down a road with a group of people, you are not an activist. That is basically the physical version of talking about something on social media. You're showing up, and that's important. Again, I'm not saying it's not important. Showing up and speaking your mind and allowing yourself to be in an environment with other people that feel the same way about you in regards to an issue that's happening in the world. That is important. But it's not the be-all, end-all to change the issue at hand. And I would argue also that a lot of people probably are aware of this and they know that they're not actually making the change. They're just bringing awareness. And again, awareness is important, but so many people I see on the internet are conflating awareness and change with being the same thing. Here's an example. Back in the day, there used to be public executions, right? Where someone would be in like a town center, everyone would gather around and watch somebody essentially be killed because of some crime that they were accused of. Now, I'm sure there were definitely plenty of times where the person being executed was actually innocent. And there were people that knew that they were innocent and spread awareness so that people knew that they were innocent of the crime that they were being accused of and that they were going to be executed for. So if you were to spread that information around the community, try to tell as many people as you can that this person is innocent and they're about to be executed for a crime they didn't commit, that would be spreading awareness of the issue. But that's not activism, especially if that person ends up still being executed. Was it really worth you doing all that? Some people would say yes. I would probably agree with that. But you didn't actually make any change. That person is now not around. Just because you are spreading awareness does not mean that you are making change. If you were, on the other hand, to rally a group of people to go to the town center and physically protect this person from being executed, either by, creating a circle around them or doing something physical and active to get this person in a safe place so that they don't get executed for a crime they didn't commit, that would be activism. That would be a direct action, which is actually changing the outcome of the event at hand. Now, most people are probably thinking, well, we don't just have issues in our community that's around us. Everything is happening in the country, in the world, and we know about it all because of the internet. Well, if there's an issue that's happening in another country and people are getting killed, there's nothing you can do to change that. I'm really sorry, but if you genuinely think that calling your representatives and posting about it on your Instagram story is going to make people stop getting murdered in another country, I'm sorry, but you are a very stupid person. Again, bringing awareness is important because we should know what's happening. And ideally, if more people are aware of something happening, then there's a less likely chance of it happening in the future. But that does not apply to war. Okay? That does not apply to a nation state funding another nation state to commit genocide on a group of people. Clearly, they don't care what anybody thinks because they're murdering people. Like, a bunch of people saying that they don't like murder is not going to stop a single murderer from murdering people. So why would it stop an entire country's worth of people that are murdering people? Like, just think about it logically. A lot of people are thinking about this stuff emotionally because it's horrible. It's horrible that this is happening. And of course, you're going to feel emotional about it. I feel emotional about it. If you don't feel emotional about it, you're a sociopath. But don't think that you're doing something that's changing the world. You're not changing the world. There's people that are in these places that are documenting things that are happening. They're there in person, documenting things that are happening. And even they can't change what's happening. So why do you think that you sitting on your couch reading shit on the internet and talking about it on social media is going to make anything change? So let's go back to the execution thing I was talking about before in a town square. That is the kind of thing you should be focusing on in real life. Issues in your own community. Physical things that you can change. You got to hope that if there's issues happening in other parts of the world, that there's people there that are doing everything that they can to help. That's all you can do. But what you can do is put your body on the line and make things happen in your own community. There's so many different ways that you can do this. Even if there's not some hot button topic happening in your community, there's people in your community that need help. And the more people that get help across the world, the better off everybody will be. So if everybody helps their own community, then everybody will be getting help. But instead, people would rather just talk about things on the internet and not actually do anything to make change because they're scared. And of course you're scared because it's scary and it's hard and it's selfless work. But it's also selfish because you are the one who's going to feel better for helping somebody as well. You know, like, you should never go into something like that thinking that you're going to change that situation either. You know, because then you're going to approach it the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that applies to the sharing infographics on your Instagram story I was talking about, like that kind of what people would call activism. All it's doing is making you feel better, and it's putting you in a position in your peer group that they're like, oh, this person cares. This person is trying to make change. That's what it's for. It's to make you feel good. It's not to change anything. So if you're posting shit on social media talking about issues in the world, and you're honest about how you're doing it so that you can feel better about yourself, and you can try to position yourself better in a social situation, then that's just real. That's just honest. That's the truth. Talking about something is not going to change it. Changing something is going to change it. And especially when it's something as dramatic as war. I'm trying to be vague about this because there's so many things that are happening that this is relevant to, that have happened throughout the years, that are happening now, that this applies to a lot of different things. So I'm trying not to make this about one specific thing, if you know what I mean. And honestly, I can ramble about this forever. If there's more specific things you would like me to get into, let me know. I just kind of wanted to go over this slacktivism versus activism kind of idea. And again, I'm not claiming to be an activist because I know that there's nothing that I can do to make something in another country change. That's just not possible. It's just not true. Like, it's just, in my opinion, it's ridiculous to think that. And it's all self-serving. So, again, I could talk about this forever. If you want me to go into more details, let me know. If I'm wildin', let me know that too. And I put out a new video every Sunday. So if you like this one, you can come back next week for a new one. And I'll see you next week.